If you've been working out, watching what you eat, trying to eat healthy, really monitoring what you're doing, and either still not seeing changes in your body or you're feeling like it's just going ultra dang slow, there's likely a silent reason why, and it's not exactly going to have to do with your nutrition or with your exercise. Today, I'm going to actually show you how stress, anxiety, poor sleep, and even elevated cortisol could be the real reason why your body is actually slow to drop fat and gain the strength that you're trying to gain. And more importantly, what to do about it. So, stick around also because at the end, I'm actually going to send you my sleep and stress recovery fitness checklist, which is a one-page cheat sheet to help your body feel safe enough to finally get back into that response where it's correctly responding to your workouts and your nutrition again in a way that you're seeing the results and you're seeing, let's say, more ROI for the efforts that you're putting in. So, hey, if you're new to the channel, welcome. If you're coming back, welcome back. My name is Lance, and I help high achieving, faith driven, high performers over 35 get lean, get strong, and energized without sacrificing family, faith, or fun. Now, a lot of my clients come to me thinking that they just need more discipline, maybe a different meal plan, maybe harder workouts or more specific strategies for their workouts or what they're doing specifically with their body. In reality, though, they actually just need better brain and body care, less pressure, and smarter recovery. Now, if that sounds abstract, I'm going to break this down in very specific ways that are going to help you so that you know exactly what to do in order to get your body not just responding better, but actually thriving the same way that my clients do in my Joyfully Fit 365 program. So if you are feeling frustrated that your workouts and your nutrition just aren't working as good as they used to anymore, or just maybe they haven't taken off in the ways that you're seeing other people doing the same things, just know that it's not your fault. There's a lot of things that are going on that you may not be aware of. And one of the things that you're probably experiencing is that maybe you've got more fatigue than usual, or maybe you're noticing stubborn belly fat that just doesn't seem to budge. Or maybe you're waking up feeling tired or wired at night, even though you're tired. Perhaps you're feeling puffy, as a lot of my clients, even myself, tend to call it, or maybe inflamed, or even you're feeling inflamed even though you're eating what you deem as healthy foods. Maybe you've got mood swings or cravings or just zero motivation. You're feeling lethargic. If this sounds familiar, you're probably in the right place here. There's going to be a few things that I'm going to break down for you. Now, the very first disclaimer that I want to give you is that fat loss only occurs in a calorie deficit. So if you're not sure that you're within a safe calorie deficit, that's going to be your very first place to start with. And I've got videos to help you to know your calorie deficit that's safe, sustainable, and how to figure your macronutrients for fat loss or building muscle. So for this video, though, I'm going to assume that you are already in a calorie deficit, or that you're already eating well and you're exercising and getting enough activity throughout the day. If not, that's your very first low-hanging fruit to begin tracking your food to make sure that what you think you're taking in is actually correct, making sure that you're getting anywhere between 5,000 and 10,000 daily steps, and that you're exercising at least 2, maybe 3 or 4 times a week. If you're not doing those things and you're wondering why you're not losing fat, you want to start there. But for the rest of you who are already doing those things where you're like, dang, Lance, I am working out 2 or 3 times a week. Maybe I could step it up a little bit more, but I am eating healthy. Maybe there's a few things that I could do better, but I used to see so much fat loss than what I'm seeing now. Or Lance, I feel like I was building strength before and now I'm getting a little bit, but it doesn't feel like it's happening anymore. And maybe you're thinking like, is it my age? Is it this? Is it that? What else is really going on? Well, the thing is that right now you're probably trying to fix these situations by working out more, or cutting more calories, or doing more cardio, or forcing yourself to push harder on your workouts, or push harder in other activities that you're doing. And it might even feel noble what you're doing. It might feel like you're working so hard, but your body's actually waving a red flag. Your body's like, oh my gosh, like send in the med ward, like this is not working. Inflammation, like it's giving you all the warning signals. So here's what most people actually miss. Your body actually doesn't burn fat well or build muscle well when it's in survival mode, also known as sympathetic nervous system mode, also known as, even one we're also known as, is going to be fight or flight mode. All right. Now, when we're in this fight or flight mode, high cortisol is going to affect so many other hormone processes and pretty much is going to block or slow fat loss, especially around the belly. Okay. Now, poor sleep is also going to wreck your hormones like leptin and ghrelin, which are going to be responsible for controlling hunger and metabolism. Okay. So if you're under recovered, you're not sleeping well, you're under a high amount of stress and you're not really doing the self-care thing because you feel like, well, who's got time? This is going to be keeping you in that sympathetic or fight or flight mode. Getting poor sleep, no diet or workout plan is going to work like you want it to if you've got consistent poor sleep. Now, I'm going to explain what that means because some people are like, well, does that mean that I need to get like 9 hours of sleep? What does that mean? Or if you're under stress, you might be like, Lance, you don't get it. My business is just a stressful situation, or what I do, I love what I do, but it's just high stress and maybe you're a high strung person. I get you. I feel you. Believe me, my business has a decent amount of stress as well, but there are going to be some things that you can do that are going to not only mitigate that stress and sleep, but they're going to put you into a better position so that your body is responding well and so that you are no longer pouring from an empty cup. So there's the very first thing that I want you to know is that there are what we call 4 drivers in your health and fitness journey: nutrition, movement, stress, and sleep. Okay? Nutrition, movement, stress, and sleep. Now there's one more that I'm not going to talk about today, which is alignment, but these are the 4 main drivers. So what we have is we have 2 key workers, which are going to be nutrition and movement. And then we have 2 gatekeepers, which are sleep and stress. Now, the reason we say that is because everybody knows that nutrition and exercise or movement is going to lead to, if you're doing it right, fat loss and building muscle. What most people don't know is that if the gatekeepers are sleep and stress, if those gates are closed, the workers can't get in, nutrition and exercise or movement, to do what they normally do, okay? Now, when we think about it this way, now we start thinking like, okay, well, I'm doing all this work with exercise, I'm active, I'm doing all this, but I'm not seeing the results that I want to. Is it really that my sleep and my stress are actually preventing results from being as much as I want? Well, yes, there's a good possibility that that's the case. In fact, I will say that many of my clients in the past, and well, I'll even say one specific, had lost about 40 something pounds with me. And there was a scenario where she started going through a crazy amount of stress going on in life. I won't, share all the details, but it was a lot of stress. And we suddenly hit this stagnant stance where we were not moving forward. This is a good, probably 12, 13 years ago. And at the time, this client did not necessarily believe that stress, adrenal fatigue, all that stuff was really playing a role. Now, I know that adrenal fatigue can be kind of controversial, so maybe we can call it adrenal dysfunction, whatever you want to call it, but ultimately I'm going to call adrenal dysfunction or fatigue when cortisol is crazy high through the roof and your body is not operating the way that it should be. So the hormones are slowing down, maybe slow thyroid production or function, less testosterone, progesterone, all of these things are not going to be active the way that they normally would be if you were getting the right amount of stress and so on, or the right amount of sleep and a healthy amount of stress instead of excessive. So this individual, once I turned her on to another friend of mine at this point to kind of give a secondary opinion. This guy being a nutritionist and physical therapist, all of this stuff, and he ran a couple of tests and on those tests, she failed multiple tests for cortisol and all this stuff to show, hey, these markers are way outside of what we want for the norm. Well, fast forward a little bit, we worked on her sleep, we worked on stress management, and I don't mean just like sitting around and trying to calm yourself down. There were like some active things, reducing things such as there were several different things that we reduced, but stimulants, caffeine. We adjusted sleep. There were all these different things. And basically, as we did this, and also using some various supplements such as ashwagandha, a few other ones too. I don't want to make the video all about that. The point is that next thing we knew, within another month or two, even though we didn't change anything on exercise, we didn't change anything at all on nutrition, she dropped the rest of her body weight that she wanted to get rid of, putting her into a healthier body fat percentage. It was to the tune of around 34 or 35 pounds, and we literally didn't change anything else other than the focus on stress and sleep. Now, I realize that's anecdotal, but I'm going to give you some more things today so that you have more than just the anecdote of Lance's former client, okay? So there are what I call a 3-step stress reset strategy that we're going to go through. Step 1 is you've got to prioritize your sleep just like it's a workout or your meal plan. I know you're busy. I'm busy. I get it. And I know that it feels like if you don't work your butt off all the time, things aren't going to get done, okay? Especially when you've got a family to run and you're going to church, you're doing all these things and you're serving and you're just so busy and so stressed, all right? People know not to skip workouts when they're trying to get in shape, but they don't realize that it's even more important not to skip your sleep. So 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep is going to reset your hormones, help balance cortisol, and it's going to help your body to recover and respond better to training. So you actually need about 90 minutes minimum of REM sleep, which is going to help out your brain recovery. And then we need about 120 minutes of deep sleep, which is going to help for optimal performance for your body recovery, which is for the neck down, okay? So 90 minutes of REM sleep, 120 minutes of deep sleep. So if you're getting 7 to 9 hours of sleep already, but you're not getting, which you can use an Oura Ring, you can use your Apple Watch, a Fitbit to track these things. If you're not getting good enough sleep, meaning at least 120 minutes of deep sleep and 90 minutes of REM, that's your first low-hanging fruit to start working on, okay? So a couple of pro tips to help get this better. Number 1, you want to keep your screens off 60 minutes before bed, and you can use a magnesium supplement if needed as well. Magnesium glycinate is one of the best and should have the least irritation with your stomach as well. 30 minutes of daily sunlight is a huge one. Blue light glasses to limit the blue light that we're constantly surrounded by all the time. That can wreak havoc on your REM and your deep sleep as well. And then don't eat 90 minutes before bed, or your body is going to be working on digestion and processing instead of recovering and repairing at night, okay? Now, there's several more things that are going to help with your deep sleep and your REM sleep. I don't have time to get into all of those. I've got a few other videos on that, but I want you to know that if you don't prioritize your sleep for that deep sleep and for the REM sleep, as well as getting at least 7, closer to 8 or 9 is even better, you are going to absolutely be struggling when it comes to fat loss and building muscle, not to mention hormone balance and all of these other things too. So the very first thing is you've got to prioritize your sleep. And there are several more things, such as, creating a sleep routine where you go to bed the same time and get up the same time every day so that you can reset the circadian rhythm. One other thing is, if you are like me and you've got screens, you always see me looking this way, I've got screens everywhere, and I'm exposed to screens all throughout the day as a modern day fitness coach. And so what that means is that my body, if you understand what happens with LED lights, they're giving micro flashes or micro pulses, and your eyes can't detect it, but your brain can. And this can create nervousness and anxiety and restlessness and all of this. So one of the best things that you can do is every once in a while take a full 4 to 7 days where you can go camping, or you can just turn off all of the electronic or minimize them. So if you're getting your leisure activities are with screens, and when you're working, you're with the screens, and when you're with family, you've got screens, and it's so excessive. So just having certain rules like, phones are face down at dinner, when you're with somebody, etc. All of these things, when we begin to decrease screen time, it's going to lead significantly to greater sleep, which means you're going to get better health and fitness results. Okay. All right. So step 1, after prioritizing sleep, we go to step 2, which is use movement as medicine and not as punishment. Okay. So when stress is high, you got to stop chasing the constant beast mode. If you are one of the people that I'm talking with, you're working out consistently, or if you try to work out consistently. If you're doing HIIT style or sprint style workouts, switch those up as well to be less impacting and choose more low inflammatory or low inflammation style workouts. Yes, that is a thing, meaning that we're going to keep the intensity down and we're going to focus more on resistance training or strength instead of the constant bouncing and crazy high heart rate and all of this stuff, okay? So it does really play a big role. What you also want to do is make sure you're walking more, get more steps than usual, especially if you need to take off working out for a bit. Take off a week and give yourself way more steps and walk more regularly, okay? The other thing is to do more mobility work for a bit, where you're causing the body to lengthen and relax and to elongate. This is going to help significantly because when we're constantly in this like tense ball of physiology, let's call it, where our body's just crumpled up like a spider, this is going to send a signal to the brain to say, you are stressed, something is not well, and that is going to in turn create more epinephrine. It's going to create more cortisol. It's going to, and again, norepinephrine is something that could be great if at the right time, but if you're constantly secreting adrenaline, you're going to feel nervous. You're going to feel overwhelmed. Now, I won't talk about fully today your heart rate variability or your HRV, but one way to know if you are in that fight or flight mode is to check your HRV. Wearing an Apple Watch, an Oura Ring, or a Fitbit, I'm trying to think of all the different things out there. Any of these typically are going to track your heart rate variability or HRV. Now, when you check this, anything 40 and lower is telling us that you are more so in sympathetic nervous system mode. Whereas anything 50 and above, now above 40 is going to be safer, but 50 and above is really where you're optimal. And anything above 50 tells us that you're more in that parasympathetic nervous system mode, where you are actually in more rest and recovery instead of the fight or flight mode, okay? So walk more, get more steps, do mobility work, stretching, light to moderate resistance training, less volume and less intensity just for a bit if you are one of those people battling high stress all the time. Stretching, Pilates, prayer, meditation on the word, all of these things are amazing for helping you to improve your heart rate variability and improve cortisol levels and so on and so forth. It's going to calm your nervous system. It's going to burn calories, like your stretching and Pilates, by the way. It's going to calm your nervous system and burn calories along with keeping your metabolism going, but without pushing you deeper into that fight or flight mode because we're not aggravating and putting ourselves in that inflammation. This is going to help with hormone balance and stress and sex hormones too. So with that said, step 3 we're going to step into, which is going to be fuel your body instead of starving it. So a lot of times this is another area that I see is that people trying to lose weight or trying to get themselves in better shape, they don't necessarily understand a safe calorie deficit. So they're just eating clean and healthy nonstop, but they're not tracking their food. Therefore, they are taking in considerably less calories than what they need. Or they're taking in not only less calories, but they're also significantly malnourished when it comes to either micronutrients or macronutrients. Maybe they're not getting enough fiber, they're not getting enough protein, or they're getting very, very high glycemic index foods, all right? Now, I won't go into all of that, but the point is that chronic stress and low calories typically means hormonal chaos and metabolism slowing. So if you have been at low calories for a long time and you're feeling like, man, everything has stopped, this is a metabolism slowing situation and it's not helping you in the slightest. So you want to go ahead and raise those calories back up. You can give yourself what's known as a diet break or a refeed, which is a refeed is 1 to 2 days of higher calories up closer to your maintenance calories, whereas a diet break is a full 5 to 7 days of eating at your maintenance calories. Now, I didn't say surplus. I don't say like just stop tracking your food for a week. What I'm saying is instead of being at that calorie deficit, give yourself 1 to 2 weeks to be at your maintenance calories and tell me if you notice that things start feeling better, okay? So when this happens and you're in chronic stress and low calories, you're going to notice that fat loss slows, energy stays low, thyroid function gets altered, testosterone gets reduced. So you got to make sure to actually eat enough to support your daily activity based on your body, not based on what some diet told you or what the internet has told you to do. And I don't mean, yes, everything you can learn on the internet, but I'm saying just social media might tell you like, hey, I'm a fitness influencer, check out what I eat. And then if you add up those calories, it's like 1,300 calories. And it's like, well, are they really eating that, number one? And B, does that fit your body? If not, you've got to make those changes so that it does, all right? Okay. Also, a lot of people ask, like, well, Lance, you talk about safe deficits. What is a safe calorie deficit that I should be at? Well, you want to calculate your total daily energy expenditure, which is how many calories your body needs at rest, plus the activity for your lifestyle. This is your maintenance calories. It's how many calories you need to maintain your body weight. If you eat 15 to 20% below that, you're going to lose weight and be safe. I would recommend starting at 15%. And if you're not losing enough, then you decrease it closer to that 20%. But if not, stay at the 15% and you're going to feel much, much better. Okay. What you need to keep in mind is that a lot of diets, they teach you how to lose weight or lose body fat the fastest, but that doesn't mean it's the safest or that it's the most permanent or long term. So if you are doing the standard world's way of doing the diet thing, metafast, cutting out foods, low carbs, keto, paleo, all these different things. I'm not saying that paleo is totally, bad by any means. It's got a lot of healthy things. But if you're just following it blindly, where you're just slashing your calories, there's a good chance that you are eating significantly less than what your body needs. And this is going to activate the wrong hormones at the wrong time. Okay, I'll digress on that point. Did I do this? Oh, yeah, by the way, too, if you do want help figuring out how many calories you need, comment below calculator, and I'll send you over my fat loss formula calculator. It's not only going to tell you how many calories you need, but it's also going to figure out how many proteins, fats, and carbs. Definitely going to want that, so comment that below, and I'll send that right over to you. The other thing you want to do is prioritize protein and whole foods like greens, non-processed foods as much as humanly possible, and high fiber and low glycemic index foods. Now, low glycemic index foods just simply means that they're going to be slower glucose, or slower glucose release, which means we're not going to get the same insulin spikes, which means that we are going to be gradually more and more insulin sensitive instead of insulin resistant. All right. So I won't get into all of that on this video. I've got another video. Check out my video on glycemic index and how you can eat carbs and actually still lose body fat. You'll love that one. So that brings me to my next point. You don't need to fear carbs. Your brain and hormones actually need them to function. You just need to choose the right kind of carbs that are high fiber and, once again, low glycemic index. This is going to help you whether you've got PCOS or you're type 2 diabetic or you're pre-diabetic, or you just care about never being diabetic, then you want to focus on low and moderate glycemic index foods, all right? The very first thing, though, is if you're like, well, how do I figure that out? Just start aiming for fiber to be between 25 to 35 grams a day. And if you have eaten all of your carbs and you're not near 25 or 35 grams, you're choosing too many carbs that are high in sugar and that are not fibrous or fiber dense, okay? That's one of the easiest ways to know. Okay, so why does all of this work, though? Well, your body cannot transform when it's in defense mode, also known as, again, sympathetic nervous system mode, all the time. You're going to finally notice that you sleep better, and when you sleep better, your sleep actually can affect your metabolism by anywhere between 15 to 20% of your resting metabolic rate. That's a big deal. So poor sleep can be costing you dearly for your metabolism, and if you're not sleeping well, you're not going to recover, which means you're not going to be building the muscle that you want to. Now, whether you're a woman or a man watching this, it does not matter. I assure you, you need to build muscle if you want a fast metabolism and you want to be a good shape and not just a skinny shape. Or a lot of my clients in the past where they've lost weight really fast and they did not use resistance training, they constantly told me, yeah, my family was telling me, hey, I'm glad that you've lost weight, but you look sick. You don't look healthy. You don't look well. And one client in particular was like, I'm so tired of being offended. I'm like, well, let me ask you something. Do you agree with them at all? And they were like, well, kind of. I'm like, well, then maybe what they're telling you is actually based on the truth as they see it, and it's not too far off. What if we put more emphasis on resistance training? This is before they join my program. And they're like, okay, I'll give it, I just don't want to be bulky. Hey, I totally get it. And here's what I want you to know. If you're a woman watching this and you think that resistance training or strength lifting is going to make you bulky, you need to know two different things. Number one, you likely don't have the hormones that are going to make you bulky. Number two, and if you see women that are, chances are they may be, if they're lifting and all that, they might be using some sort of testosterone or some sort of male hormone replacement therapy, causing them to put on more muscle than what your body will ever allow you to. Number two is, if you see women that typically look bulky because they're lifting weights, I don't want this to be offensive, guys, but I've got to tell you the truth. It's because their body fat is too high. If you do not reduce your body fat while you're lifting weights because you're either increasing your appetite, you're working out more, and you're not paying attention to your nutrition, it's going to cause your appetite to increase. And if you don't lose body fat while you're building muscle, picture this. So if this is my stomach, my chest, if I've got body fat, if this is muscle that I'm building and body fat is over it, it's going to push that body fat outward. Okay, so I look bigger and thicker and bulkier, even though I'm building good, awesome, lean muscle. So if you're worried about that, it just means that you are likely, especially if you've ever been bulky before, it's likely because your body fat is not coming down at the right rate and you're keeping more muscle and yet not losing body fat. And that's going to make you appear to be bulky. Now, if you continue to push it and you adjust your nutrition, you'll stop looking bulky. But I just want to give you that kind of disclaimer or preface to that. So not only will you sleep better, you're going to notice that, again, you are building more lean muscle, your metabolism gets faster, you feel better, cravings and bloat is going to start to fade, you're going to look and feel leaner, of course, even without doing more, just like that client of mine, and you're going to stop feeling like your body is fighting you every step of the way, whether it's for fat loss or for muscle building or strength building, okay? So if this helps you guys, if you feel like this has made sense, if you feel like this has had any value, please don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button as well. That really helps to send YouTube a message to say, hey, I'm on the right track here, and it sends a signal to tell more people just like you that this is where they need to be. So thank you guys so much for tuning in and watching. Don't forget to check the links below. And if you want the calculator, be sure to comment that below as well, or if you want that cheat sheet. So thank you guys. I will catch you all on the next one.